Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? Jermell Charlo cements his legacy in boxing, becoming the king of 154 pounds, the first undisputed champion at 154 in the history of boxing. And he did it in such spectacular style, such dramatic fashion, so skillful, so graceful. I thought that this was Jermell Charlo's very best performance. While watching the fight, I really didn't get that sense of it being his best performance because I wasn't surprised at how well he boxed off of the back foot. I wasn't surprised at how well his footwork was so effective, or how effective his footwork was, or how effective his movement was, how effective his jab was, his ring IQ. I wasn't surprised by any of those things. So I wasn't so quick to say, oh, this is his best performance. I seen him in the Jason Rosario fight, how he set up traps for Jason Rosario boxing off of the back foot using really, really good foot movement, lateral movement, tying up Jason Rosario whenever he decided to get too comfortable on the inside and start ripping off shots, and then just, using his amazing counterpunching ability, speed and power to line motherfuckers up and take advantage of them when they show weak spots, when they leave themselves open. I've seen him be extremely skilled throughout his entire career, and he's only been getting better, and he rises to the occasion when his level of competition rises. It seems like his performances get better and better. I said all of that in my breakdown. Go back and watch my prediction. I said you gonna see Jermell Charlo and Derrick James come out with a game plan to box in this fight, similar to how he did versus Jason Rosario. And so in the midst of that, because I've seen him do that before, I wasn't so quick to just say that's his best performance. But after going back and watching the fight again, and just watching how he gracefully dismantled and disarmed Brian Castano, who is a very tough fighter, very strong, really good chin, and a really skilled fighter as well. Brian Castano has a motor on him, really good inside fighter, a smart fighter as well. Has some good tactics. He used the same tactics that he used in the first fight. Kind of taking the first half. I thought he was more active in this fight than he was in the first fight, but he still used the same game plan. Kind of, chill out for the first minute and 10 seconds of each round, and then the last minute and 30, he going crazy trying to win over the judge. That strategy works when you in there with a guy that is basic and somebody that don't know how to adjust. The version of Jermell Charlo that he fought in the first fight, that particular game plan was very effective. But not this time around, because this time Jermell Charlo actually listened to Coach James, who was giving him, like always, very sound advice in the corners. You can hear it on the trainer tracks when they put the mic on Derrick James. You know what I'm saying? And then also Jermell Charlo, he made in-fight adjustments. You seen after the sixth round, I had Jermell Charlo winning the first three. I gave Brian Castano the next 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you saw in the seventh round, he made adjustments. He started getting stronger with the tie-up. He started, playing that jab and then coming behind it with the straight right. He started going to the body more, like Derrick James was saying. Hey, man, aim for that body. Fuck the head. Go to that body, because if he dug down, you gonna hit something. It don't matter. Go for that body, because you gonna hit something. He right there. He don't got no choice but to come forward to you. He walking forward to you with the high guard, not using no damn jab. You better go for the body. You gonna hit something. And that's exactly what Jermell Charlo did, man. And he started to pull away after the seventh round. I had him winning every round after the sixth and up until the stoppage. And it was just a phenomenal performance. I had to go back and watch that, man, and just to see like how calm Jermell Charlo was. And it was a scary type of calm, just like in the Jason Rosario fight. Very calm. You know, Jason Rosario pack a punch, and he's a very big fighter, very strong at 154. And he was coming out there throwing some big ass haymakers and shit, but Jermell Charlo was just so calm. So calm, got that cool killer look on him. It's like he knows something that everybody else don't know. You know what I'm saying? Man, it was just a beautiful performance by Jermell Charlo. And he is indeed, I mean, he didn't need this performance to let me know that he's a pound-for-pound fighter. Y'all know he been on my pound-for-pound list. And the new pound-for-pound list will be dropping in June after the Devin Haney and Kambosos fight. So be on the lookout for that. But this just cemented and, you know, kind of stamped to the rest of the world the type of fighter that Jermell Charlo is, the caliber of fighter that he is, and all the hard work that he put in, man. It really paid off on that night. And I have to say, after watching the fight again, that is indeed Jermell Charlo's most complete performance, because from top to bottom, you know, it was the biggest fight in his career because it's for Undisputed. It's a rematch. This guy's been in the ring with you. He's familiar with you as you are with him. But, you know, rematches aren't easy fights to win, especially when you're in there with a guy like Brian Castano who want that shit, you know, who really want to win, who really want that shit. You can see that because he was willing to die in the ring. He was willing to put it all on the line. He was willing to go out on his shield. Brian Castano didn't fight scared. That's why he got knocked out, because he went in that bitch and he went for broke. He let his hands go. He really wanted to win that fight. And Jermell Charlo just showed he was the stronger, the better, the more skilled, the more intelligent fighter, just the better overall fighter, and he had the better corner, the better coach. You know what I'm saying? But for Jermell Charlo to perform like he did in the biggest fight of his career, for Undisputed, with everything on the line, going up against such a tough competitor like Brian Castano, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's definitely Jermell Charlo's most complete performance. He showed everything in that fight. He showed the foot movement. He showed the boxing ability. He showed that the chin. He showed how strong his chin. I told y'all, Jermell Charlo got an iron chin. He showed you the punching power. He showed you the counter-punching ability. He showed you the jab. He showed the ability to fight off of the ropes and not stay on. Remember in the first fight how Jermell he'll back to the ropes voluntarily, and then when Brian Castano get up on him, he'll just stay there without returning much fire. But in this fight, every time he even got close to the ropes, he always, you know, Brian Castano might have thought shit was sweet. He'll throw something. Jermell Charlo always had something coming back. He always had that jab. He always had something coming back. Or he'll throw an uppercut. In the first half of the fight, he was missing some of those big haymakers, but Brian Castano was feeling them bitches whiz by his face. You know what I'm saying? He was feeling the power and the steam on those shots. And that right there alone can make a motherfucker realize, like, hey, I got to be careful. Every time Jermell Charlo back got close to the ropes, he was fighting off of him. You know what I'm saying? He never allowed Brian Castano to just park him on the ropes and just do whatever he want to do. Man, as you can tell, I am pleased, man, and I am so impressed with what I saw from Jermell Charlo. It was just an immaculate performance, to say the least. And, you know, he's now undisputed, ring champion, lineal champion, got all the belts. No other fighter at 154 can say that they're a champion. Nobody. And the crazy thing about this is Jermell Charlo is a true 154 pounder. Yeah, sure, he can go fight at 160, but the man came in at 152. He weighed in at 152. 152. That lets you know the type of shape that he's in. That lets you know the dedication that he had in camp leading up to this fight. That lets you know that he's a true 154-pound fighter. This is his weight class. He can stay here as long as the fuck he want to. You know what I'm saying? And I can see him staying at this weight and defending his title, you know, at least 2 times, maybe 3. You know what I'm saying? Earl Spencer be up there after he take care of Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can see Earl going up and, you know, maybe getting getting a couple of fights at 154 just to get his feet wet. By that time, I think Jermell gonna fight again by the end of this year. So by that time, shit, Jermell can have 2 or 3 title defenses and then move up to 160. That can very well be the case. So with that being said, what's next for Jermell Charlo in terms of opponents? He has 4 belts. He gonna have 4 mandatories. You can only fight one at a time. We know Tim Tszyu took step-aside money to allow Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano to fight for the rematch. We know that the WBA number 1 contender, he got paid step-aside money as well to allow them to allow Jermell Charlo to fight for Undisputed. And also, we know that Sebastian Fundora just defeated Erickson Lubin to become the number 1 mandatory for the WBC. You dig what I'm saying? And you know how the IBF get with they mandatories and shit too. So he gonna have to fight one of these number 1 contenders. So, when you at the top, when you the champion, it's nothing but, when you undisputed and you choose to defend your titles, it's nothing but smoke waiting for you. And Jermell Charlo is one of those guys that will willingly take on that type of challenge. He will willingly turn his face to the fire and go after that shit with full force and pride. Jermell Charlo is a definition of a true champion. You know what I'm saying? He the type of guy that's not finna just lay down. Like, if you gonna beat Jermell Charlo, you really gotta beat him. And especially after him tasting defeat from Tony Harrison in a controversial loss, and then also having that draw versus Brian Castano. Now he's undisputed. Now he really feel that shit. He know what that shit really feel like to be undisputed and be the king and be on top of the world. He not finna get that up easy. So Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, anybody that think they finna get in that ring with Jermell Charlo and take something from him, hey man, good luck. Good luck. I'll tell you what I would like to see, man. I would like to see the Sebastian Fundora fight. The Tim Tszyu fight seems attractive because, Tim Tszyu, they've been talking real greasy. Tim Tszyu talking about Jermell soft and he emotional, he's angry and, all this shit. Hey, man, get your ass in there, man, and let's see what happened. You feel me? Let's see what happened. I don't mind that fight. He the mandatory for the WBO. The Sebastian Fundora fight, in my opinion, is the most attractive fight for Jermell Charlo at 154 right now. However, I do believe that PBC will maybe try to, I think they might try to let Fundora get at least another fight or maybe 2 fights to build him. He's a fairly young fighter, very exciting, fan-friendly fighter. Got a great personality. I love Sebastian Fundora's personality. He's one of those guys that you just love to watch fight. And when he talk about boxing, you could tell he love to box and he willing to fight anybody. So he could be up, and he got the obvious. He's fucking 6'6". You know what I'm saying? At 154. He is a spectacle. He's somebody that people gonna want to pay to see. And he can fucking fight. And he throws a lot of punches and he gets knockouts. And he got a chin on him. So this guy is somebody that you can build into a star. You can make him, a name. So I can see PBC trying to let him get a couple of fights and then build up the Jermell Charlo and Sebastian Fundora fight. That's possible. But I think that fight is the most attractive fight to happen next for Jermell Charlo. You could put it on pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do. I think that fight will sell on pay-per-view. But if they want to make it free on Showtime, I'm with that too. I ain't going to argue. You dig what I'm saying? But I think that's a fight that I think that's the most attractive fight because it's going. I don't think that bitch going 12. Jermell Charlo versus Sebastian Fundora is not going 12. Tim Tszyu, I think Jermell Charlo can outbox him and knock him out. It'll only be a matter of time. But I think the Sebastian Fundora fight is the most attractive. I like the Tim Tszyu fight as well. Either one is fine. You can build both of those fights. And, you know, both fights make sense. Of course, they mandatories. And, you know, from there, we'll see what happens, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think. How did y'all feel about, I know we talked about the performance on Saturday. I went live immediately after the fight. But, you know, now that y'all done had time to sit with the fight, maybe watch it, you know, 2 or 3 more times. You know, how do you feel about Jermell Charlo's performance? And what do you think is next? Who do you want to see Jermell Charlo fight next? You know, the most. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.